Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 22 of the Detroit Lions franchise here on Madden NFL 21. Today we're going to sim the playoffs as well as look at the Pro Bowl and the awards. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. Here's a look at the wild card games in the first round of the playoffs, which you're going to start simming right about now. So we're going to start off with the 5 seed Jaguars beating the 4 seed Bills 27-24. Josh Dobbs, 250 passing yards, 3 touchdowns in this one. He helped Jaguars prepare over the Bills. And in my opinion, Doug Marrone, he probably should be coach of the year. I mean, he's doing all this with a team that people thought would be, a bottom team in the AFC with a backup quarterback. So props to Doug Marrone for continuing to lead this Jaguars team into the playoffs. Second game is the Battle of Ohio, and the Cleveland Browns upset the Bengals in Cincinnati 30-24 in overtime. Joe Burrow looked very well in his first ever playoff game, while Baker Mayfield just looked a little bit better. Both quarterbacks over 100 QBR. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns on the ground. John Ross and Rashard Higgins had touchdown grabs, as well as Tyler Boyd. And then on defense, it was pretty mal on both sides. There's only 1 sack, and then both teams had interception apiece, but the Browns move on. Third game, Denver upsets the number 2 seed Colts, so the 7 seed beating the 2 seed for the first time ever. 24-17, Denver gets this done. So in the AFC, all 3, road teams picked up the win over the division winners. So very interesting, all the wild cards won. KC has the 1 seed. They had the bye this week, so they will play the Broncos, and the Jaguars will play the Browns in Jacksonville. Von Miller had a sack and a half, a lot of sacks in this game. Both offensive lines not playing very good, and then Kenny Moore had the pick. In the NFC, we're going to start off with the 5 seed Buccaneers beating the 4 seed Seahawks 38-24. Tom Brady 3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 4 interceptions. Russell Wilson not playing good in the big game as Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucs move on. I think they are a force to be reckoned with. Rob Gronkowski had a touchdown pass hooking up with Brady. O.J. Howard also had one, his only catch of the day. Rashard Jones, the only one to crack double-digit tackles while there was a sack apiece. The interceptions, Bruce Irvin, Devin White, Jameel Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Shaq Barrett gets one. Also, number 6 seed Giants, they upset quite arguably the hottest team coming into this one, the 3 seed Packers, 28-21. Daniel Jones, 2 touchdown passes. Green Bay had won 8 straight games going into this one. Looked like a favorite to potentially challenge for the Super Bowl, and they dropped the first one to New York. So props to New York and Joe Judge and Daniel Jones picking up the upset at Lambeau Field. Kyler Fackrell, 2 sacks. Green Bay offensive line struggled in this one, and then Blake Martinez had the lone pick. And lastly, in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys beat the 7 seed Falcons 42-31. The Atlanta Falcons choked a 4th quarter lead. What else is new? Both quarterbacks threw for over 350 yards. Zeke, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Just have been an absolute menace. Amari Cooper had a touchdown catch. Julio Jones had 2 for Atlanta, and then Dallas had his 4th touchdown through the air. CeeDee Lamb also found the end zone. He's played very, very well this year. In the sacks department, a couple of sacks, and then there is an interception apiece for both teams. Actually, 2 for Dallas. So that's going to move us to the divisional round. We got Broncos, Chiefs, Giants, Saints, Browns, Jaguars, and Buccaneers, Cowboys. So let's jump right into it, starting off with number 1 seed Chiefs. They blow out the Denver Broncos 28-3. Kansas City, your favorites in the AFC. Pat Mahomes, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. Drew Lock, about 180 passing yards and an interception. Not good for this Denver offense. Demarcus Robinson found the end zone, as well as DeAndre Washington through the air. Alexander Johnson, 15 tackles for Denver, basically their only bright spot, as him and Miller had a sack, as well as Bradley Chubb. And the interception was Daniel Sorensen. Back to the NFC with the number 1 seed on that side. This New Orleans Saints beat the Giants 31-21. Drew Brees, 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he did have 3 interceptions. So Daniel Jones couldn't quite knock off the 1 seed Saints. The Giants are eliminated as Drew Brees and the Saints continue. They look like your Super Bowl favorites, going 14-2, and been a while since we've seen them in the Super Bowl. Then go To the next game of the week, going back to Jacksonville, where the Cleveland Browns, the 6 seed, beat the 5 seed Jaguars in a very unlikely second round matchup, 35-7. Josh Dobbs, 3 interceptions. His Cinderella run as the Jaguars quarterback comes to an end. It'll be interesting to see what happens to Josh Dobbs in the offseason. He played pretty good. I don't know if he warrants a starting job anywhere, but he could be a very hot commodity if you're looking for a backup quarterback. 2 sacks for Myles Garrett led the way, a couple of sacks apiece for Jaguars players on defense, and Daniel Zellward, 2 interceptions, and Grant Delpit, the rookie, had 1 as well. Lastly, the Cowboys beat the Bucs 35-31 in the last game of the night, prime time. And this was kind of a shocker to me. I thought Tom Brady and the Bucs would come in, they would beat the Cowboys, but they were not having any of it, especially Zeke Elliott. 147 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Continues his dominant streak. CeeDee Lamb finds the end zone again. Mike Evans had a touchdown. Antonio Brown only 4 for 68, so pretty quiet in the postseason for him. He didn't have a touchdown in either of the 2 games. 10 tackles apiece for a few players and a couple of sacks. So it's going to be Saints, Cowboys in the NFC, and Chiefs, Browns in the AFC. As here's your matchups going into the Super Bowl. Who will reach Super Bowl 55? Who will it be? It is going to be Cleveland Browns and the New Orleans Saints. So the Cleveland Browns have upset the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought for sure it'd be Kansas City versus New Orleans. That was my prediction from the beginning of the year. And the Browns won in overtime, another 30-24 overtime win. Baker Mayfield, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Pat Mahomes, 221 yards and a touchdown. Couple on the ground, 1 apiece for Chubb and Hunt. That running back duo has been absolutely amazing this year for Cleveland. And Cleveland finds themselves in their first ever Super Bowl. Good for Cleveland, trying to win a title. It won't be easy, but they deserve it. What a matchup that is going to be. I'm rooting for Cleveland. We're going to watch that game. I'm going to be rooting for Cleveland, but we'll see what happens. In the NFC, the New Orleans Saints continue their dominance. They beat the Cowboys 24-3. Dak Prescott, 144 yards, 3 interceptions. Zeke Elliott was only limited to 3.2 yards a carry, his worst in a while. And the New Orleans Saints, the number 1 seed in the NFC, the best team in the NFL, goes to their 2nd ever Super Bowl. They won their first one back at the 2009 season when they beat the Colts in Super Bowl 44. And they're going back to the big dance once more. But before we get there, we got the Pro Bowl. Take a look at the Pro Bowl rosters. A lot of people you expect. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes lead the way in the quarterback department. Zeke Elliott is a running back. We didn't have that many players going to the Pro Bowl. We did have Kenny Golladay. He did make it in the NFC. Cordero Patterson also made it. He had a very good season as well. No tight ends. A couple of surprises, though, on the AFC side. And then we didn't have a lineman as well. Line didn't really play that good, so that's not really surprising. Defense, none on. Actually, we did have Trey Flowers on the line. Forgot he got right in, so good for Trey Flowers. That's 2 for us. In the linebacker core, Jelani Tavai did not make it despite leading the league in tackles, so that might have been a snub. And then in the secondary, we didn't have anybody make it in the secondary, but we somehow had we had Matt Prater make it in kicking, but somehow we had Ty Johnson make it as a punt returner. Don't know how because he didn't return punts, but if that gets him some XP, I'll take it. A couple of coaches who coached their last game, Andy Reid and Pete Carroll retire, so that's a couple of legends who we'll not see around next year, which means the Chiefs and the Seahawks, especially that Chiefs job, that's going to be a hot commodity. Now we'll go take a look at the awards, starting off with MVP. Drew Brees, he gets his first ever MVP award. It's taken quite a while, but Drew Brees is an NFL MVP. Sean Payton got Coach of the Year, so the Saints with the sweep. He got his second, first since 2006. In the AFC, looking at those awards, one thing you notice is Kenneth Murray got Defensive Rookie of the Year. Joe Burrow obviously got Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cole Beasley is your number 1 wide receiver. So a couple of surprises. Deshaun Watson actually got Offensive Player of the Year as well, so good for the former Clemson Tiger. A couple of players you would expect at the top, J.J. Watt, Calais Campbell on the D-line. Linebackers, Bernard McKinney. Texans actually had a lot of players at the top of these lists, despite only going 5-11 this season. So very underwhelming for them. Maybe that's why Bill O'Brien was fired. Second best DB was the rookie C.J. Henderson out of Jacksonville in the AFC. Kicker is Josh Lambo. So now on to the NFC Offensive Player of the Year was Dak Prescott, despite a horrific NFC Championship game. Chandler Jones, Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year is CeeDee Lamb. He turned in a phenomenal performance. The Defensive Rookie of the Year is Terrell Burgess out of Los Angeles. 3rd round pick out of Utah. Got it in the NFC. Julio Jones leads the way in the wide receiver department. Kenny Golladay finished 4th behind Mike Evans and Michael Thomas. Not a bad group to join. O-line was dominated by the Saints and the Cowboys, which, what do you know? They both made the NFC Championship game, so your offensive line is a big part. Trey Flowers got 2nd in D-line, only behind Aaron Donald. Linebackers Chandler Jones, Shaq Barrett, Khalil Mack, a bunch of edge rushers. Reuben Foster, the first non-edge rusher to get atop of that one. Safety Adrian Amos of Green Bay is your best DB. Desmond Trufant actually came in 4th, 2nd best corner, so that's kind of surprising. Matt Prater was your best kicker in the NFC. But that's going to do it here for this one. A little bit of a short episode, just kind of recapping the playoffs. Next up, it'll be Super Bowl 55 between the Cleveland Browns and the New Orleans Saints. We are going to watch that one in the next episode and hopefully be able to get to the live stream this weekend. That is the plan. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Also, make sure you go check out my channel update videos. The video at the end of this link you can see, but I kind of asked some questions in that one, see what you guys want to know. So if you don't mind giving that one a check, I would appreciate that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.